Alright guys, this is just a quick tutorial on how to start adding skin tones and how to use the dodge and burn tool to create realistic looking values in the face, so the contours. The first thing you're going to want to do is have a decent outline of the person's face. So I at least have a closed section here outlining where his skin is. The next thing you want to do is decide on your skin tone, and there's several ways you can do it. My picture is kind of washed out. I don't really have a lot of, his face isn't pure white there and it's not pure white here. You can either just go to your colors and kind of play around and look, see what looks decent. This isn't what I would normally recommend for my picture, but I'm going to show it anyways. The eyedropper here will select a skin tone. So if you kind of look at your picture and find a middle ground, you don't want to highlight, you don't want to shadow, just kind of the normal skin. When I click, it gives me a skin tone here. And as long as it's kind of an overall basis of what the skin could look like, it should be fine. I'm going to make a new layer, and this layer 9 is underneath the layer with all the black highlighting. All you're going to do is take your paintbrush and fill this in, and you can go right outside the lines, kind of messy. I already did this on this layer just to be quicker. To cut this quickly and make it perfect, all I have to do is go to layer 7 that has my outline on it, magic wand outside of what I want, so all of a sudden my selection is everything outside that black line. And if I click on my layer with my painted stuff, when I hit delete, it's going to delete everything outside that black line, including my scribbles. Press Ctrl D, deselect, and then I have perfectly outlined stuff. Because Paint Bucket, it's really nice to have this skin, this flesh, on its own layer. If I wanted to use the Paint Bucket, I would have had to Paint Bucket in on layer 7, which gets harder when you have different areas, like we have to add the eyes, I have to add a beard. It's nicer to have everything chunked out into different layers to still manipulate a little bit. So on layer 8, I've got my face. I'm now going to go in, I kind of like to add the shadows first. Your dodge and burn tool are here, usually it's on the dodge one first. When using either of these for this project, you want to make sure you have a feathered, I call them fuzzy brush, selected. Make sure your exposure is at 100. And for your range right now, we're kind of doing shadows, so you can have it, don't have it on highlights, shadows or midtones. I'm going to do midtones right now. I'm going to make my brush bigger. Too big. And I'm going to turn this off for a second. I need to kind of look at my picture and see where are the shadows. So through here, go back over here, and that was a little bit bigger area, so I'm going to kind of skim through here a little bit with some of the shadowing and think about the contours in the face. I'm going to move this over here because I'm going to click it on and off a lot. I'm going to need a little bit in that area. And if this is too harsh, like it is kind of burning quickly, then this is where you can play with your exposure. If I bump this down to 48%, look, see, that's not as harsh a burn the first time I go over it, which is actually probably what I should be doing. So I've got that on 48. I want to make this a little bit bigger. Kind of burn in that. See, that's nicer. It's not as harsh. All around this eye gets burned a little bit. Down in this area. Make my brush smaller to be a little more detailed. The most important area to be burning is around this nose. You shouldn't really have strong lines drawn around your nose. The nose, and this is a drawing technique, is created by having a range of values. So I want to be very sensitive to finding those contours that actually create his nose. So it comes through here and around this eye. Under the eye a little bit, it gets really dark. Some stuff going on here. Usually around like the cheek, the hair area on the sides, it's burned a good bit. Now he's looking like the Rick I know. Alright, the next step is to add your highlights. And I would probably work this a little bit more, but I want to keep this as a short video. The dodge tool, same kind of stuff going on. let's put that exposure at like 50. Now I'm going to go back in and really look at my highlights. Obviously his face is very whited out. This is probably a terrible example to use. But whatever. It's the picture I wanted to use. So over here is really white. So I'm going to start pulling out some of these highlights. I just have an extreme facial face thing going on here. The bridge of the nose here, this is the really important stuff to kind of make Rick look like Rick here. Add that harsh highlight there. There's some harsh highlights happening here. And then this actually is darker in that area, so I can just go right back to my burn. Look at it for a second, and I'm gonna make this a lot smaller to start getting some like detail stuff in there. Down here there's some burn for that contour of the nose. And typically there would be like some more stuff going on over here, but okay, this is how you contour. Keeping this video short. Once you know you got it how you want it, you can merge stuff if you want or leave it separate. I might just label this right now like Rick's skin. Alright, that's it.